wish to comment on some very troubling aspects about the recent elections, both for the Lok Sabha and for the recently concluded Legislative Assembly elections in Haryana, Jharkhand, and Maharashtra. I will divide my remarks into two parts. The first is regarding the verification of EVMs and the Supreme Court judgment on 26th April. And the second are certain surprising facts regarding the election itself and especially the data regarding the elections. So let me start first with the EVM verification process. As all of you know, the Supreme Court, in a writ petition filed by Association for Democratic Reforms, gave a judgment on 26th April 2024, where they said that the current EVMs are fine, they cannot be hacked, but nevertheless, they said that if candidates wish, they can ask for verification. Let me read the relative part of the judgment here, which was in para 76B. It says the following, and I quote, "The burnt memory / microcontroller in 5% of the EVMs, that is the control unit, ballot unit, and the VVPAT, per assembly constituency / assembly segment of a parliamentary constituency shall be checked and verified by the team of engineers from the manufacturers of the EVMs post the announcement of the results. For any tampering or modification on a written request made by candidates who are at serial number 2 or serial number 3 behind the highest polled candidate. Such candidates or the representatives shall identify the EVMs by the polling station or serial number." End of the quotation. So what we see here is the judgment requires that the so-called burnt memories and microcontrollers should be verified by the engineers of the manufacturers. The ECI came out with a standard operating procedure in, I think, third week of July 2024, more than 2 months after the announcement of the results on May 4th, which simply says that the technical standard operating procedure simply states that they will conduct a mock election using the EVMs identified for a larger number of votes, say about 1,000 votes or any number of votes that are required. And the mock poll, if everything works correctly, then it will be assumed that the EVM has been verified. Now, this is clearly not in consonance with the Supreme Court judgment. The Supreme Court judgment requires verification of the actual hardware, which is the memories and the microcontrollers which have been pre-burnt. So clearly the technical SOP does not conform to the Supreme Court judgment. That's the first point. The second point is even slightly more troubling. It is that the Supreme Court judgment itself is, in my view, misses out on several things. The first thing is that the judgment at several places in the judgment refers to this so-called burnt microcontrollers and memories, which cannot be changed. That is true. They can't be changed. But actually the EVM units, that is, it has 3 units, as you know, the ballot box, the control unit, the ballot unit, the control unit, and the VVPAT unit. They have actually labile memories. Labile memories means memories which can be changed. So they are control registers. They are basically counters or registers where you keep counts. And they are absolutely necessary because that's what the EVM is doing, it's keeping counts. So there is a total count for the number of total votes cast. There is a register or counter for each of the buttons on the ballot unit, so that you know how many times each button was pressed. So every time a voter presses a button, the relevant button count and the total count is increased. So these are labile memories. They cannot be pre-burnt. And they are present in the control unit. Also, the mapping between the keys, that is the buttons on the ballot unit, and the candidate itself, that is, you have to know which button refers to which candidate to be able to finally decide how many votes have gone to the candidate. So that information is usually it's there in the VVPAT, and that's also labile. The memory is labile. It's uploaded by the symbol loading unit uh, for each polling booth. So there are these labile memories which are not pre-burnt, and if in any possible way access can be obtained to these labile memories, then the contents of those memories can be changed, and therefore the election sort of results can be manipulated without any change in the pre-burnt microcontroller or pre-burnt memories. So there is a flaw in the reasoning of the Supreme Court sort of recommendation, and it is not sufficient even if you exactly follow the recommendation of the Supreme Court. It is not possible to decide that whether election has been whether the counts have been manipulated or not, because the memory pre-burned memory and everything may be completely fine, but if the labile memories have been changed in some manner, that will never be traceable. So in my opinion, this entire EVM procedure, whatever the court has directed, as well as what the SOP says. The SOP has, of course, no direct relationship with what the court has suggested. So that's the first thing. And secondly, what the court has suggested is actually not sufficient to conclude that no manipulation has taken place.